Have you ever been asked by your teacher to explain something in front of the class? I'm sure you have, but maybe some of you have failed because you don't know how to give information or to explain something in front of the people. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Resviana with my ID number 202122031. I'm with my friend Aina Amalia Izzati with ID number 202122022. Here, we are going to explain about the informative speech. So, we are divided the explanation into some points. The first one is the definition and the goal of informative speech. Of course, before doing this informative speech, we should know what it is and what the aim is. And then the second one is kinds of subject matter that can be addressed in an informative speech. Because this kind of speech is to inform people about something, so the subject or the topic must be appropriate. And then the third one is the strategies for defining information. So by using the strategies, you will know how to build a good material to give to the audience. And then the fourth is the ways a speaker helps the audience comprehend the message. This can be used while you delivering the speech to handle your audience on the stage. And then last but not least is some key points to keep in mind while creating an informative speech. This is very essential, very crucial, because it will guide you to keep on track in the informative speech. So let's just get started. Here I have my friend Aina Amalia Izzati, who will deliver about the definition and the goal of informative speech, kind of subject matter, and the strategies for defining information. So, Aina.
Right, thanks to Resviana. So now I will introduce myself. Hello everyone, my name is Aina Amalia Izzati with ID number 2021222022. So here I'm gonna deliver the material about the definition of informative speech, subject matter of informative speech, and the strategies or approaches for defining information to informative speech. So now let's begin with the definition and the purpose of an informative speech. Well, what is informative speech? So an informative speech is one that is forming the audience on a particular topic. There are many different types of informative speech, including speech that describe the condition of a subject, that talk about people, event, process, places, things, or instruct the audience on how to perform an action. In an informative speech, the speaker describes a specific topic supported by a fact. It means that the speaker must research and collect the data on the topic carefully. Now, what is the purpose of an informative speech? The main goal of an informative speech is to provide information about specific topics the audience knows nothing about. In the informative speech, a speaker will explain the opinion on a subject so that audience can know. The topic covered in a formative speech should help the audience to understand the subject better and to remember what they learn about. Now let's move to the subject matter of informative speech. In the subject matter of informative speech, there are 6 points. The first is object or phenomena. Object or phenomena is define and describe object or phenomenon and also over explanation and demonstration. Sample topics for objects or phenomena is like digital cameras, Texas English, MP3 players, and so on. So that is explain or describe about something. The second is people. People is describe the person or a group and explain their significance. And sample topics for people are athletes, authors, inventors, and many more. That is describe or tell significance of the person that you explain or you tell about. The third is current or historical events. Current or historical events is used description to paint a vivid picture and analyze the event's meaning. For example, Lady Gaga concerts, the National College cheerleading finals. So that is describe or explain about the event's meaning. And the fourth is process. The process is like showing a physical process and describing a process that is appropriate to what we need. The sample topics for process is like power yoga movement, podcasting, and many more. That is explain the process. And the fifth is concept. The concept is when we plan about something and we discuss the process or the cause that underlies a concept using analogies and explain it with several definitions. The sample topics for concept are artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, showtime movements, and many more. And the last is issues. Issues is focused on description and explanation about something. Then sample topics for issues are outsourcing, plastic in the world's ocean, and racial profiling. Now it's time to talk about the strategies or approaches the informative speech. So there are 4 points in here. The first is start with what you know. First, start with what you know, and if we start to what we know and out of nowhere you get the inspired, it's a good strategy to start with what you know and you will work from there. You will be more enthusiastic and help your audience listen carefully what we say, and it will be save your time. The second is consider your audience prior knowledge. Provide information that your audience needs, not what you want to be conveyed, because the audience will be more interested in listening to what they don't know, and the audience will want to learn something from you. And if you don't know about what you want to talk about, you can do a survey to the audience or ask to all the people what they think of the topics you are considering. The third is using outside information. You can add more sources or more detail for explanation to the audience, even though you already know everything about the topic to be presented, but to increase your knowledge, you can add from outside sources as long as you explain the source. And the last is presenting information ethically. An informative speaker express their respect for listener is by avoiding to give a comment to other and being honest about the information that is presented, and don't present the information that is not in accordance with the topic of conversation. So that's all for me. Thanks for your attention.
Alright, thanks to Aina. But first, I want to ask something to you. Have you ever experienced after joining the class, the meeting, or the seminar, then you walked out from the room, then you realize that you don't get anything? So it may caused by you, it means the audience, or the speaker. So here I want to share about how can the speaker helps the audience comprehend the message. There are 2 ways to help the audience comprehend the information or the message. It is internal and external way. Okay, let's go through them one by one. The first is internal way. It is from the way the speaker delivered the information or the message. There are 4 things that need to be considered. The first is confidence. Of course, confidence is the essential thing of public speaking. But how to increase your confidence? Here I have some tips. The first is believe in yourself. Just believe that you can do this, you can do the speak. And then the second is enough exercise. Just practice a lot, practice as often as you can. And then the third is often speak in front of many people. It can be in front of your family, your friends, or when you have anyone to practice. you can do it by yourself in front of the mirror. And then the second thing that needs to be considered is vocal technique. There are several things in this. The first is volume. It is whether your voice is loud or quiet. You can adjust it to the condition or the situation. And then the second is pacing or speed. Don't talk too fast or too slow. When you talk too fast, the audience might not get your point. And then when you talk too slow, they might get yawnful or bored. And then the third is articulation. Articulation is the way you pronounce the word, and it must be clear. And then the last is intonation. This is just like the song. When you're talking, try to use different patterns of intonation. Don't just use one pattern, because it will be monotone. Alright, the third is expression and gesture. So you can use your facial expression to help you explain something to your audience. For example, when you explain about something scary, you could make a scary expression. So when the audience do not pay attention with you, and then they look at you, they will know that you are talking about something scary. And then the gesture, it is the body language, and usually it will comes naturally. It's like your hand or your shoulders maybe, or your head, when you are calm, and then you feel every word that you say, the gesture will come naturally. And then the last is communicative. Remember that public speaking is a form of communication. It means that there is must give and take process. Information in this case, whether it's from the audience or from the speaker. You can try to ask some question like, do you understand? Or you can give the greetings, just like when it's getting noisy, you greet them like hi, and then they said hello, you said hello, they said hi, just like that. And then the last is give a little bit humor to refresh your audience. Then the second is external way. This is about the material that includes in your speech. So to help the audience comprehend the message, you should pay attention in these three things. First is keep the content short, concise, and clear. Don't talk too much or too long, because the focus of the audience is limited. And then give some details, such as interesting example, to build their interested, so they don't get bored. And then the third is keep your point, to not beat around the bush. It means that make sure that you just include the relevant information to your topic, so it doesn't get too wide. Alright, and then we come to the last part. It is some key points to keep in mind while creating an informative speech. Alright, so there are several things that need to remember to use when creating an informative speech. So the first is, remember that informative speech uses description, demonstration, vivid details, and definition to explain the information. Remember, there are 4 types of informative speech. It is descriptive, demonstrative, explanatory, and definition. But in fact, when we do a speech we usually use all of them at the same time. For example, when we are giving a speech about how to make a podcast, at first we will explain what is the podcast by using the definition. Then we will add some details like the tools that need or the place that need when making a podcast. We will use a descriptive in that, and then when we talk about the step by step to make a podcast, we use the demonstrative. So by using all of them, we can build a better understanding and audience. And then the second is, remember that informative speech makes a complex topic easy to understand. I have explained it before in the external way. It is to keep the content short, concise, and clear, and then give interesting example, and then keep on point. Alright, and then the last but not least is, remember that informative speech relies less on videos and more on communicating information. So it is different from persuasive speech when it uses more videos to appeal the emotion of the audience. Instead, the informative speech may rely on visual aids, for example, pictures and then the charts, to make a clear explanation about something to the audience. Finally, this is the end of our presentation. Now I'll give you a brief summary of what we talked about. So, informative speech is a speech that informing the audience on a particular topic, and the aim is to make audience understand and remember about the given topic. So that's all what we want to share with you. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.